Truly a life that ended way too soon. I'm John Renton with my review of Dark Side of the Ring, The Mysterious Death of Gorgeous Gino, aka Gino Hernandez. I do apologize for not having this and the Fabulous Moolah review up soon after I reviewed episode 4 of season 1 of Dark Side of the Ring. I'm preparing for season 3, but I got busy with other projects and time got away from me. That's why you're getting this and the Fabulous Moolah episode soon after this, so I do apologize for that. Now, this is a particularly sad episode, but I do want to say out of all the season 1 episodes, this might have been the one where it's like, okay, it's sad, and Gino Hernandez's life was tragically cut short through various choices and various things in his life. He was definitely going to be a huge star in wrestling. He already was, on the rise. He was doing great things in world-class championship wrestling, was a tremendous heel. Absolutely got you to hate him like crazy. And I was only a year into watching wrestling when Gino Hernandez passed away, or just about a year. And I only got to see a little bit of him in syndication, but being that I was so young, I didn't get to appreciate Gino Hernandez and had to go back and watch clips and full matches. And my God, he's such a tremendous heel. And this, you find out more from his family, his friends, co-workers. But the thing is did we really find out anything that we didn't already know? Various people are going to have their conspiracy theories and their theories about what happened. Do you think that Gino Hernandez was murdered? Do you think it was an overdose? What do you guys think? Answers in the comments, please. Because it's still something where I'm not fully sure that we got all the answers because everybody's still going to think what they think. So, February 4th, 1986, Gino Hernandez was found dead and apparently had, been dead for a few days. David Manning, who was a referee and booker for World Class Championship Wrestling, he heard various people talk about the story. He said he lived the story because he worked in World Class along with Gino. Was he murdered? Was it an accident? The mother shows pics of Gino, to the family, the sisters, and Gino's ex-wife and the daughter, and just, it shows how, tragedy like of this level can fracture and splinter and just affect the family for years and years and decades. I mean, you could see the pain in his mother's eyes, as it would be if any parent that is close to their child losing their child. No parent should have to bury their child, and it's just that's probably the thing that stuck out to me the most is how much the mother was affected. Bruce Pritchard, Jake Roberts talk about Gino's charisma and ability in the ring, and by God did he have it. You can go back and see how really goddamn over he was and how hated he was. It wasn't a gimmick, it was him. David Manning tells stories of Gino, since he worked in World Class for years and years and years, I think until like 89, that, he would compare Gino's promos to Michael Hayes, Ric Flair, Jim Cornette. Just, Gino, you give him a microphone, he can just get people that upset. Bruce Pritchard talks about meeting Gino very early on in his life in Houston wrestling, and that his mom talks about his early years. The stepdad was a wrestler, and that inspired Gino to get in the ring. And Janice, Gino's ex-wife, they got married at 18. They had a daughter soon after. We hear from the daughter as well, and she doesn't have a ton of memory. She has some memories of him, but obviously since she was so young when he passed away, they're it's not that they're necessarily fleeting, but they aren't as formed as they would have been had, Gino lived on into at least her teenage years and into her adult years. So Jake Roberts says, well, Jake Roberts never had any problems, but that the man himself did. And, that's the thing. Gino Hernandez was perfect, but the man himself had a lot of goddamn problems. Gino was raucous in and out of the ring. He lived his gimmick. The Cotton Bowl 85 hair match where he teamed with Chris Adams and they lost their hair to the Von Erichs and the Von Erichs, if you will. And it's just, Gino loved to party. They actually went out afterwards, and Gino was heavy into cocaine and did cocaine dealings and stuff. And that's where a lot of the tragedy comes up. And it actually was really kind of sad to see, the amount of the mistakes he made and how it affected his career. Even though his career was still on the rise, you could tell he was burning through a whole lot, and what he was doing, he got caught up in the fast lifestyle, and it was said best, and I believe Heroes of World Class, basically that this doesn't beat, or, you don't beat it, it beats you, and that's pretty much what it is. Gary Hart said that, I believe. And Jeannie Williams, Lady Blossom, for her time in wrestling, she talked about his partying, drug-fueled club parties. She got slipped some acid by him, and they were all partying, floating on clouds. Gino ran with a tough crowd, drug dealers, and Jake Roberts wouldn't say much about it, but there was a crowd you didn't want to mess with. there was a divorce because of Gino's drug dealings and stuff like that. So obviously, the ex-wife isn't because of his death. They had divorced before he had passed away. It'd be hard to divorce after somebody passes away. Chris Adams, the blinded angle, which I didn't necessarily care for, even looking back on. They've done it in plenty of wrestling territories before that and since, but I didn't necessarily care for it. But he had come back and said, "Oh, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him." And people actually thought that Chris Adams was the one that did it, that ended Gino's life. And the last time that anybody saw him was Super Bowl Sunday. Somebody wants to get you, they'll get you. That's what the mother says. David Mann talks about Gino wanting a gun because, somebody was in his back seat and maybe he should have listened to him, that he probably was being stalked and, traumatized by people. And no one hears from him. He misses a show, and then he misses Houston, and that never happens because, Paul Bosch thought the world of Gino Hernandez. Look it up. There's a lot of history there. And somebody finds him laying down on the floor. He'd been dead 4 to 5 days. And the mother finds out he's dead. She's upset, as any mother would be. Upset would be putting it mildly. The police photos, a gun near his body. What the hell happened? We start to find out more answers. A strange man that Gino knows says, "Well, Gino owed me a lot of money, according to the mother, but don't you worry, I'm going to pay for his funeral." But that he had no remorse or empathy. He just basically was telling the mother, "This is how it's going to be. Like, don't talk. This is how it's going to be. You shut up, and I'll do this." That was not said necessarily, but that was implied. The funeral, mom was dressed like a movie star. That's how Gino would want her to be dressed, because Gino loved the fast life and also did love his mother, as any son would, a mother that raised him right. And there are a bunch of men that Gino knew, the drug dealers that drank champagne to you, Gino, smashed the glasses on the casket. Strange man, later to be revealed as John Royal, gave a eulogy that was very weird. Just talking about how Gino, maybe the wrestler wasn't the best guy, but that Gino the man was a great guy. And fans, everybody was rumors were flying. What the hell happened? That Gino got shot in the head, or shot himself in the head? No, that wasn't it. That Chris Adams did. That wasn't it. What was the actual answer? The mother does her own investigating. Had a whole bunch of stuff from the police. That there was 5 times the cocaine in his body that was needed to kill somebody. It was enough to kill an elephant. And you're not supposed to necessarily ingest cocaine. I mean, you shouldn't take cocaine anyway, but the way he took it, you really shouldn't goddamn take it. And that the ex-wife mentions how Gino talked about faking his own death after seeing it on a sitcom. That some guy did it because of tax evasion or evading taxes, then showed up sometime later. He says, "I'm going to do that." But the mother says if he had done that she would have heard from him by now. Lady Blossom talks about, him having a bowl full of cocaine, running water in the sink to prevent this noise from happening, keep telling her to be quiet, like the house was bugged or something. Jake Roberts did drugs with Gino. Gee, Jake Roberts doing drugs, I'm shocked. He's clean now, but I don't think that's really shocking. The mom was scared, understandable. There was, voice of John Royal, who was the guy who gave the eulogy, apparently, and the one that said that he was going to pay for the funeral. He had served 30 years for trafficking cocaine, and that, he didn't owe money. He never said that. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Night at the club, Gino left with some stewardesses. That's the last time that he saw her, or he saw him rather, is with them. Now, an anonymous source talks about, the group, Gino, and how that the family shouldn't worry anymore. And that it was alcohol, drug-filled and everything. It was an overdose, but that don't think any less of Gino. But you have no reason to worry about this. And it was really sad. The mother was put more at ease. Still doesn't bring her son back, but it is really goddamn tragic that happened. Do you guys think that it was an overdose? Do you guys actually think he was murdered? Was it a hit? What do you guys think? I kind of like to know. I want to believe it's an overdose. I'm not sure necessarily. I'm not going to throw out accusations. I'm not going to get angry. I'll say that for the Fabulous Moolah episode. Bit of a hook there. But yeah, definitely Gino Hernandez's career, but more importantly, his life was cut tragically short, and it just really is sad. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.